Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Tonight we are going to make one of my favorites. It's a dish that I found online a couple years ago, and I've been kind of tweaking a little bit until it gets to where I want it, or at least what I think is delicious. So tonight we're going to be making a vegetarian. It's technically vegan, but there's some things I do that would be considered vegetarian. So you're more than welcome to make this vegan style. You can just take out the dairy. Yeah, it's just dairy products that I use that make it vegetarian. But tonight we're going to make a barbecued pulled pork. And our substitute for the pork is actually going to be a mixture of some nice mushrooms. Normally what I would use is actually a lovely Asian, I think it's actually a nut fruit. It's gigantic, but it's called jackfruit, which has this great kind of meaty, naturally meaty flavor to it and consistency. However, I was unable at my Asian market today to find any jackfruit. They normally have it. So a great substitute though is I'm going to do a nice mixture of mushrooms. So let me go ahead and throw my damn apron on. I'm going to wash my hands. We're going to have some wine and then we'll get cooking. I hope everyone's doing amazing today. I had a great day. I was running around taking care of a couple of things. Some of you may know I, with one of my best friends, I own a nightclub here in Berlin. So there was just a couple of construction things I had to take care of and all that other stuff. So I had a very, very full day and got to hang out with my business partner who, don't worry, we've been in contact since this all started and we are both asymptomatic. So I got to see him and we had a really nice day. Just joking around and getting shit done. So, wash my damn hands, swig that wine, and then we'll be off to the races. Hope everyone is just lovely. God, I'm in such a good mood today. Probably because all the government stimulus stuff started going out in Germany. So, and not just for me, but like a lot of my friends and other business owners that we're friendly with. There's a lot of people that are getting some very, very much needed relief. So, you know, things are looking up even though we're inside. You know, I'm just happy that a lot of people in my life have a lot of weight lifted off of their shoulders. So it always makes me happy. I'm a very extroverted, empathic type of person. Hey, Trinidad, how you doing, Mama? And hi, Shannon, I see you. Alex, what are you doing watching? Figured you'd be busy, girl. All right, now that we've washed our damn hands, we can have some damn wine. Tonight brought to you by Riesling. All right, so the first thing I want to do, guys, is I'm going to bring over my board. Get myself some extra counter space. And I'm going to show you, we're actually going to just take a fork and we're going to pull the mushrooms the same way that you would a chicken or a pork shoulder, stuff like this, kind of in like a Mexican cuisine. Cocktails! That's right, girl. So it's super simple, and I'll show you how we do that. I've actually left my onion unmandolined, if that's a verb, because I've been talking about it in every episode. I want to show you guys exactly how I do it. So, what you're going to need for this, you can use a green pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper, whatever you want. I've decided to go with a Holland pepper, that kind of yellowy orangey one. I've got a nice mixture of mushrooms. You really pick whatever you want. Baby portobellos are great. Even portobellos are great for this. You're going to need a white onion. We've got some mustard, some ketchup, some brown sugar, some spices, stuff like that at the end. What was I going to say? Oh, if you don't feel like making your own brown sugar, which I'm basically just going to repeat the recipe that I used for my Sloppy Joes last week, there are a lot of supermarkets and grocery stores around the world that actually sell a vegan barbecue sauce. So you can go ahead and use that. This dish, like I said, in the end, dealing with the ingredients and whatnot, is going to end up vegetarian. But if you follow along, you can, you know, use whatever you want and substitute here and there to make it vegan if that's your kind of choice. So I'm going to drag you guys over here and I'm going to show you what we do with the mushrooms. Over to the handy dandy chopping board. All right, so here, I've got just some classic mushrooms here. I've got some trumpet mushrooms. I've got some hen of the woods. A lot of good stuff going on. So it's super simple, guys. Like I said, I always try to do recipes that you really can't screw up, right? So you're just going to take a simple fork like this, and any mushroom you have, obviously rinse your mushrooms. You don't want to deal with, especially nowadays. But also, these grow in dirt, and some of them grow in shit and moss and stuff like this. So you just want to give them a good rinse. Just take your fork, and I mean, just start like tearing in by bits. And each mushroom you have in your varietal is going to go into different kind of textures and stuff like this. And don't worry about that, because we're going to cook this all down together. So for instance, that one tore up like that, right? And I'm going to leave it chunky. This is actually a mushroom that's going to resemble kind of the fat that would normally be in a pork. Now with these hen of the woods here, I'm just going to take a knife and I'm just going to go into like just rough, loose cuts, right? And that's going to give me a different consistency here. And then here, I'm just going to tear along and I'm going to shred these. And that's going to give you kind of that pork meat consistency. So see when that comes up like this? That'll be great like that. That actually gives you that kind of tender meat consistency. And they're all going to cook at the same time and temp. So you don't have to worry about the size or shape or anything like that, because they'll all cook together. And basically what you want is you just kind of want like a nice mix of these. You can even start to tear them like that, and that's going to give you that kind of nice, if you were to come off of a real pork shoulder, it'll give you that that top layer meaty feel before you get down to the fat. And we'll put all these in together. It's super healthy, actually still full of proteins and fibers and all that other good stuff. Scoop these up, put those in there. We're just going to hammer away on these. And these I can actually finish off. I'll probably do a couple more just in case people are joining us. And just mash it with the fork. Like I said, I try to make meals you can't screw up, guys. So that's going to be like our fatty content. I'll put that in there. These are going to be kind of that more of a tendony, deep muscle kind of feel. Stripe that up. And with these I can tear in, and that's going to give me that top fleshy layer that you get with real pork. See how it just kind of shreds off like that, guys? Like you're actually pulling chicken off. It's good like that. You can just tear it like it's string cheese even, right? Get those big clumps in there. So the rest of these I'll do off when everything's going in my cast iron skillet. And of course, non-vegan, spoiler alert, I'm going to draw off some butter because I'm using those brioche buns again that I used last week for the, what was it? For the sloppy joes. Sorry, I'm missing my words today. It's been a long day. That's why Daddy needed some wine. Not that that's any excuse. Daddy always needs wine. So I'll rip the rest of those off. Like I was saying, I'm going to draw off some butter to go on those brioche buns that we're going to toast those off. So let's get to some real time cooking. Oh, get my cast iron skillet here. I'm going to fill this up with some olive oil. Keeping it as vegan as I can, a healthy amount. Everything else is just going to soak up and eat up. Let's bring you guys over to smell-o-vision, as I call it. We want our oil nice and hot, but not... We're not going to do a high heat. We're going to do like a medium high. Because once again, with the peppers and the onions, we're going to be sweating those like we have for a lot of our other recipes. Where you're not actually cooking them all the way down, because this is going to be another dish where we're adding separate ingredients at different times to get the consistency that we want. So you don't want to cook anything all the way down. And then when you're trying to add something else in and cook it, that cooks completely out and just becomes like a vegetable mush, if you will. So we're going to go in stages here. All right, let's bring you over to smell-o-vision. Put you right above the cast iron. There we go. Beautiful. Super nice. My mom, Mary Pat, always thinks that I'm going to light this towel on fire, and I let her know that it's happened several times in my past, and I've learned the proper distance. So the first thing we're going to do, just get these peppers in. Oh, and actually, I broke a promise, guys. I told you I was going to show you the white onions. Little salt on these, some pepper. kick this down just a notch so I can get you over to the onions. All right, so I've been talking about my handy dandy mandolin for ages. Well, here it is. This one's amazing. It actually comes in 4 sets, right? So I've got just a normal, your straight edge mandolin. I've got 2 different grades of a cheese grater, which are lovely. This is my hand guard, which I tell you all to use. And then this one is actually what I call the slicer and dicer if I were Ron Popeil and I could just set it and forget it. And so I'm going to use this one for my white onion. And this is that quarter turn technique that I was telling you guys about before. Sorry, I had it right the first time. And it sits on the guard like that, which is great. So I take my white onion, I've taken it off, I've peeled back what I want to, it sits like this. I put my guard on, and I'm gonna go 1 full go. Might have to help it on the first one. And then you come back up. Don't bring it back across the blades, because then you're just gonna get long shoestrings and stuff like that. You go again, come up, go again, woo! Let it break on you. Normally I just go fast on these. And that's how you almost cut your thumb off yesterday. And make sure you're giving downward pressure on this. So you get nice even slices and everything's coming out the way you want it. And this works so much better than crying over onions and trying to keep all the pieces together and all that fun stuff. So that when you're done here, you've got all these nice minced onion pieces. And it was done in a matter of seconds and there's no tears. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put these onions in and let this all sweat together. There we go. Get this all going nicely. Keep this on a lower heat. All right, now, here we go away. So we're going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to go back. Now, while this is cooking, you can still just sit here and start to piece up all of your mushrooms. Once again, these are going to be fatty bits because we're going to get all that different consistency that you would get from a real pork. I'm telling you guys, if you do this right, you can actually fool a meat eater. I swear to you. It's a lot easier to do with jackfruit, but we're going to shred these trumpets up real nice. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That just starts to become like real pork meat. I don't know if anybody was watching yesterday. I had to put a finger condom on because while I was giving safety instructions on how not to dice your fingers, I went right through my thumb. So kind of reminds me of In Living Color with Fire Marshal Bill, who was always lighting shit on fire. Just going to go ahead and dice these bad boys up. Lovely. I think I've got enough fatty bits. I want a couple more actual, like, nice meaty bits. That's great. I used to work in a Mexican restaurant in Los Angeles, and one time I had to be in charge of the pork pulling station. And let me tell you, tedious work. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I ended up the general manager, so that was great, but whew, I'd rather make guacamole for days, to be honest with you. It was just not my jam. Let's get all this up in here. Good, gorgeous. One more of these ought to do it. I always cook for an army. No need. Just gonna separate these off, get some big chunky pieces. Lovely. Maybe a couple more hen of the woods. Get some nice long pieces in here. These will cook down and become super tender, which I love. Amazing. Bring you guys back over here. Now remember when I was talking about sweating peppers and sweating onions, you're obviously not going to get them to a translucent point, but we don't want to caramelize them. We want them to just be a scotch see-through. And I actually think that where they are right now is going to be great. So I'm going to take one more sip of wine, and then we're going to add our mushrooms in. And the most important thing, when we add the mushrooms in, is when we're going to add in everything else so it can all stew together. Because pulled pork is actually like a southern dish. And anything southern, as you know, like it's best when it's like slow cooked, and you let all those flavors come together. My words are just escaping me today. I apologize. Oh, I'll tell you what though. It smells delicious in here. So, our spices today, I'm going to get my garlic salt going again. Slap your mama because I want to spice this up. I've got my heartburn pills from my doctor, so we are going to use the Löwenzahn, that super spicy mustard I was telling you guys about. Simple tomato paste and ketchup, like we did for the barbecue sauce before. Brown sugar, of course. Worcestershire. And to give us that smoky flavor that you get when you're actually making real pulled pork, we're going to use some smoked paprika. Alrighty, let's get it going. Bring you guys back over. Sorry if anybody's getting seasick with all this. There we are, okay. We're going to kick the heat down because I actually want to slow cook all of this. So we get all of our mushroom bits in there. And right when those are in there, we're going to start adding in everything else. So we're going to take a whole small can of tomato paste. It's going to go right in. We're going to take all of our ketchup, which is about 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup, depending on how saucy you want it. Brown sugar. About a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, a healthy tablespoon. We're going to get a tablespoon of spicy mustard. For me, a lot of slap your mama, because I want this dish hot. Kick it up a notch. I'm going to get that mixture of smoked paprika, garlic, cayenne, all of that in together. We're going to just let this all start cooking down and mixing in together. Now the good thing is, right now it's going to look like it doesn't have enough going on sauce-wise. There's so much water that's packed into all these fungi. And that's all going to start to release. And as we really start to slow cook this down, it's going to be absolutely lovely. Wow, that spicy mustard is kicking up. It's actually giving me tears in my eyes. This is going to be a hot pulled pork. It's going to be lovely though. I was telling you to avoid crying by using the mandolin, and here I am standing over this hot mustard. We're going to let that all kind of just sit. I want to pack it so that it keeps all the heat in from the cast iron. Nice down. Let everything roast. We're going to flip that a couple of times. At the same time, sorry, not vegan, but vegetarian, I'm going to start drawing off a little bit of butter so that I can toast my buns at the end. We can put this on the absolute lowest heat setting, because we just want warm butter. We don't want to cook it, burn it, anything like that. So, chef's suggestion for you guys, I love throwing a good Dublin cheddar on top of these. It's just an amazing flavor. If you're going vegan, I'm not sure if there's an option. If you're going vegetarian, this is the way to go. Also, what I did the day before I started filming is I was pickling stuff. Maybe I'll do an episode on showing how to pickle stuff. These are red onions that have been sitting in a spicy pickle for about 2 weeks now. We're going to put those on top. It's just going to bring out all the sweet and bold flavors. It's going to be incredible. This is looking perfect. This is going to be a really, really spicy pulled pork. Like I said, you guys, if you're not down with the spice, you can alter any of the ingredients. Most of the time when I'm cooking, this is all made to my taste. You can add, reduce. Some people want to watch their sugar. They don't want a brown sugar. You can get low sugar vegan barbecue sauces. You can get no sugar added. All that stuff. It's really up to you. I'm just showing you how to make an easy meal my way. So once again, I'm just going to cover that cast iron and let that be like that. All right, while this slow cooks, I'm going to kick it down to a low heat. Let it start to roast off. And I'm going to see what everybody's saying. Oh, let's see. Also, you can add your favorite barbecue sauce, or you just find the tomato sauce. Oh, absolutely, Shannon. You're absolutely correct. Whew. Sorry, guys. That spicy mustard. Oh, whew. Has me going. Oh, how's everyone doing? Sean's here. Hi, Kim. My cousin Kim's watching. Mark from Bad Fish is watching. Great bar in Berlin. If you guys come and visit, go see Bad Fish Bar. Could you do this with only baby bellas? You absolutely could, Shannon. You could definitely do this with only baby bellas. You don't need all that mix of mushrooms. I only did that just because it's my preference. It is vegetarian pulled pork. Yes, Ludo, it is. Hi, Keith. Hi, Mo, Monaco Aleko. Oh, yeah. Milkshakes would be great, Mark. Not a bad idea at all. Let's see what we got going here. Oh, really, really nice. And here's the good thing about mushrooms, guys. You can cook them forever. The only thing you're ever going to do is possibly burn them. They're almost like French fries. You can only leave the heat on either too high, or you can leave it too low and literally fall into a coma. I mean, the good thing about fungi is that they will cook for ages. You can just let that go and really roast down and let all those flavors come out. And they really do have like a meaty flavor. I'm not lying to you. I am a meat eater. I'm not cooking this because I'm a vegetarian or anything like that. I love a good steak. I made steaks last week, I think it was. They're delicious. But when it comes to this, either jackfruit or mushrooms, you're not missing anything. It's not like, oh, I want pulled pork and this doesn't taste like it. It's good stuff. We're almost done here, and I might actually reheat some of my macaroni and cheese, but I want to get this butter down. I want to toast the buns, and I want to plate it and show you guys the final result. So bear with me for a couple more minutes. Hi, Bean. Bean, you'll love this. Bean's a staunch vegetarian. He's a big old fucking rugby player, and his family's always giving him shit, and he's like, gorillas are gigantic. I'm eating what the gorillas eat. This is looking amazing. All right, my butter is drawn off. I'm going to kick this heat up. Give myself a pan here to do my buns in. We've got our handy dandy trusty barbecue brush. All right. Maybe I'll bring you guys back over to smell-o-vision. I'm moving this camera around a lot. I apologize tonight, guys. All right, there we are. This is all just cooking down nicely. All right, I've got my brioche buns here. Give these a nice douse. I'm gonna toast these bad boys off. Don't be afraid to really get in there. It's a good flavor. There's also, I've got a butter in my fridge that's made out of soy, and it'll do the same thing. So if you're really, really, really trying to keep this as vegan as possible, it's not impossible at all. Let these toast up nicely. That'll be wonderful. Oh, gonna eat good tonight. Let me get, once again, Dublin cheddar. Let me get that out, because that is going on top. I will tell you that right now. Let's get ourselves a plate ready, because we're not animals. Although you could eat this right out of a paper towel if you're in a rush. This could be an out-of-the-door meal. How are our buns looking? They won't take too long, but they will take a minute, I'll tell you that. Let's actually move this off, and I'm going to bring my buns to a higher heat, because these are going to be... It's even got the consistency of pulled pork. It's great. I love it. You could actually spend a little more time shredding this down, but I'm not fooling myself. If you're trying to fool someone, go for it. If you're not, then there's no need to. Take this off the heat. It's going to be wonderful. Wait to toast these buns up. I could have started them a little earlier. Oh, you can smell the hot mustard. You can smell the peppers. I might actually put a little salt to bring some more of the flavors out. Not that any of us need more sodium in our diets, but might as well eat good if you're going to eat. Absolutely wonderful. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I never really talk about this, but fresh out of the market, this entire meal cost me 11 euros. Can't beat that. So if you are one of those people waiting on a stimulus check in this terrible time, you can... I'm gonna make 2 sandwiches out of this because I'm a big boy, but you could easily make 4 sandwiches out of this. You can reheat that vegan mac and cheese we made last night, and you have a dinner for 4 on 11 euros. So you can stretch that dollar, I promise you. I try to keep all my meals that way. Nobody's coming in here with Wagyu steak or champagne. And I will have all of the vegan recipes up tomorrow. Or I might even do it tonight. I apologize, guys. I have... Oh, look at that bun. Oh, that is wonderful. That one's getting there. That one's getting there. About 30. Oh, no, that one's done. Oof, beautiful. And those are going to be, the good thing is these are going to be nice and hot so that when we put the cheese on, the cheese is going to melt, right? It's going to be great. That'll do. That'll do. Look at those beautifully toasted buns, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take my faux pulled pork. We're going to pile that right on there. Don't be afraid to make it messy, just like our sloppy joes. You can always grab a fork and pick up what's left over. Amazing. Throw our Dublin cheddar right on top. Take that hot burger bun top. And there you have it, guys. We have our vegan pulled pork sandwich. Well, vegetarian now. I can't wait to start eating. Have a little more wine. Get the evening started on Netflix. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. As I always say, wash your hands. Social distancing is the only way we're going to go over this physical disease. But a physical disease is just the same as a mental, social, or emotional disease. So check in with your loved ones, your friends, your family, somebody who may be alone, senior citizens, people who are old or lonely. It is just as terrible to be stricken with a physical illness as it is to be stricken with an emotional or mental one. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Mwah, mwah, mwah.